Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gillian, and today we have a really incredible guest in store for you guys. We have Katie Elizabeth. She is known under Raw Vibrant Love online, and she has had a huge transformation on raw living foods. She first went vegan in 2014, and it was once she went raw vegan that she noticed all the weight come off and just a massive transformation inside and out. So I am so excited to share her story. My viewers, you guys have some questions for her as well, which we'll go over at the end. And she is just such an inspiration. She shares just the most beautiful pictures, most beautiful food on her Instagram page. And let's get right into it. Hey, Katie, how's it going?
Hey, it's going well. Thanks so much for having me, Gillian.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you on. I've wanted to have you on for months and months. So I am really excited about this interview. I think you are one of the biggest transformations I've ever seen in raw foods, and you just really do it well. You're glowing and you seem so happy and alive, electric, and you really make it look good.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so I would love to start with your story. So you first went vegan in 2014, and it wasn't until you went raw that you noticed the changes. So if we could rewind a little bit, sort of talk about your history, maybe were you having any problems and what led you to vegan and also raw?
Sure. I'll actually start at the beginning, which I actually did discover raw foods way back in 2009. So what happened was it was 13 years ago. So I was 20 years old. Me and my boyfriend at the time, we were in downtown Chicago going to the art museum, and we went to this deep dish pizza place. Back then, what I was eating was kind of standard American diet, lots of dairy, lots of greasy foods, meat, and I was 235 pounds at my heaviest. And we were at this pizza place and we ate an entire deep dish pizza, just him and I. And I think I actually ate more than him. And I felt so sick. Like I just felt really bad. And I had like heart palpitations. So I know there was some, probably from all the cholesterol and stuff I was eating. And, I had acne. It was hard to walk. Like I got out of breath really easily. And then when I was in Chicago, it's like raw food just came to me, like the universe was like, here, this is what you need. What happened was we were going to a bookstore before we were going to take the train back home. And I saw it's called what is called Eating for Beauty by David Wolfe. And he was one of the first raw foodists I kind of was interested in and started following. That book made me go raw back in 2009. I went raw. I just started for 30 days and I actually lost 30 pounds in 30 days. It was crazy. And I stuck with it for 7 months. I was fully raw. But yeah, I lost about 70 pounds in 7 months
Wow.
doing that. But back then, raw food wasn't as mainstream. So it was hard to find kind of recipes and like information on how to do it the right way. I wasn't eating nearly enough. It was a lot of like higher fat stuff, not a lot of fruit. And the recipes were like, had really weird ingredients that I couldn't find very easily back then. So I did fall off and I went back to animal products. At that point, I was like a fat vegetarian for many years. I kind of maintained my like 220, 215 pound weight. And then in 2014 is when I did go vegan. I found the book Skinny Bitch, and that was 5 years after I went raw the first time. And then more recently, it was actually 2020, I went raw
Wow.
again. I had 2020, that crazy year when all that stuff went down.
Hmm.
Basically, what happened was I was laid off work and I decided to take up skateboarding. I don't know why. Maybe
Wow. I did not expect that. That's awesome.
I think I was trying to be Chris Kendall secretly or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I love it.
But I I didn't do so well with that. Like I actually fell off and I sprained my ankle really bad. And at that point, I was vegan, but I was still overweight and struggling, eating a little too much processed and just couldn't get the weight off. So I decided to go raw for one, to heal my ankle as quickly as possible, because I did not want to be, it was summertime and I didn't want to be like without exercise and being able to move around. And then also to lose weight. So that's when I went raw, and I've been primarily raw since then. So
Wow. And what benefits did you notice when you went? So you've lost about 80 pounds, 75 or 80 pounds since then, right?
yeah, it's 80 now. Yep.
Wow. How do you feel?
Oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Like I can breathe easier. I can just pick up and run like a mile. Like I would never have been able to do that back then. My acne, I had struggled with acne for years. Like as a teenager, I was on, unfortunately, I didn't know better, but I was on a bunch of antibiotics for years because of my acne. And that did help. But obviously that, screws up your microbiome when you do stuff like that. So that messed me up for a long time. But the acne cleared up right away. And obviously, like I didn't take any medications at that point. Yeah, and the weight just like melted off. So
Wow. So you must have been happy about all these positive changes.
definitely.
Yeah. And I know when I first went raw, I was like, oh my gosh, holy crap, this is the best I've felt in my entire life. Did it have that effect on you too, or no?
Yes. So it actually like brought me out of a deep depression, probably for a number of, like, I've always wanted to be raw. It's always been on my mind, like ever since I first did it in 2009 and kind of, failed at it. And, when I was experimenting with vegan and like different vegan protocol, I guess, like the high carb, low fat, starch based stuff, I just never had that like light feeling that I had when I went raw in 2009. So I was like, this is what I really want. Like if I like act in alignment with what I really want, I mean, it feels amazing. Like it lifts you out of that depression, that dark place. And I think that for me is like what self-love is.
Beautiful. Well said. And I'm wondering, what do you eat in a day, and what were you eating in a day to achieve these amazing results?
Sure. So actually, what I did was a number of things. So the first main thing I did was go primarily fruit based. So just eating as much. And that's one thing I love about this lifestyle too. You can eat in abundance. You don't have to feel restricted at all. Even though it might feel that way at first, as you're kind of releasing some of the food addictions. But yeah, for me, it was going primarily fruit based and eating as much as I wanted. Eventually, I did like an intermittent fasting thing, which I still do to this day, just focusing on fruit as my first meal. For me, I eat 2 meals a day and then I will snack on fruit. I just can't keep a straight face.
It's okay.
I'm trying to be serious. But anyway, yeah, so I'll intermittent fast until like noon and then eat fruit as my main meal, like big portions. And then if I get hungry, I'll eat fruit. If I'm not hungry, I won't eat. I don't really like to count calories, but I think it's a helpful tool for people in the beginning. But and then dinner, I usually have either a big bowl of ice cream, my favorite, or I'll have like a huge salad or some kind of like zoodle dish. I love zoodles. So
Me too. They're so good. Well, that all sounds great. And I'm wondering, with the intermittent fasting, I do that as well. So I do different hours though. I stop eating lately around 3 and I feel so
nice.
good, but I have to go to bed early because my kids and get up really early. But I'm wondering, what benefits have you noticed from the intermittent fasting?
So I just feel stronger. Like I feel less addicted to the food. I don't know how to explain it, but I think
Mm-hmm.
in society, we're trained to like eat 3 squares a day and like constantly be eating and snacking and doing this and that. And it just gives your body such a break. I can even feel like I'm more sensitive
Mm-hmm.
to what I'm eating. Like if I eat a big meal the night before, I can feel it like still in my stomach, like digesting the next morning. And I'm like, I feel full. Like I feel like I don't need to eat right away. I don't know. I just feel like I could fast for like 3 days if I wanted to, and it wouldn't really affect me, like I feel strong in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then like energy wise is better. My skin got even better when I started doing that. I think there's lots of anti-aging benefits to the intermittent
Mm-hmm.
fasting too, if
Yeah,
I'm not.
100%. You're right. You're correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely want to keep doing that. But for me, I think it's nice because it's not like one of these juice cleanses or something extreme where
Mm-hmm.
you have to just do it and then quit. Like you can do it every single day and reap all the benefits of, a more extreme protocol.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I've experienced the same results as you. And I've read a lot of studies where two people that are eating the exact same amount of calories and the exact same food, but the one person intermittent fast and the other person doesn't. The person intermittent fasting loses a lot more weight, like if they were trying to lose weight, than the person not intermittent fasting.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it just has so many benefits and it just makes you feel so good, like your stomach when you wake up and stuff like that. So I'm just wondering I know you talked about juice cleanses and stuff like that. So have you done any cleansing on this path at all as far as juice cleanse or water fast, dry fast, any of that?
So last year I did a number of small juice fasts, like maybe like 3 to 5 days. I did a number of those. And then I moved into a 30-day juice fast. And I did like detox a lot and I lost a lot. I was even
Oh,
leaner than I am right now. Um, and I did feel amazing, but I did it at the wrong timing. Like I did it right before I went on vacation and it just put me in this like weird, like not weird, like unfortunate situation where I wanted to eat everything and I
mm-hmm,
was, not able to make all my normal raw foods that I like. And it was a
mm-hmm,
little bit harder where I was traveling. So I did gain a little bit of weight from that. I didn't do the refeeding right. And then I felt like
mm-hmm,
my digestion was just weaker in general because,
mm-hmm,
obviously it's had a break for, however,
mm-hmm.
30 days. So would I recommend it? I think it's good. Like it's a tool for people that, if you need to heal an ailment or something. Do I think it's necessary? Not really. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's probably good to do like, once or twice a year. But yeah, I think it's kind of triggering for people that are coming from
Mm-hmm.
food addiction. So
Yeah, yeah. I hear a lot of people say that. Makes sense. And I'm wondering, like with the raw living foods, do you feel satisfied? I know a lot of people, maybe if they're eating standard American right now or like eating everything, they just think like, oh, you're just eating salads. Like they just think like, I couldn't do this. Like I wouldn't like it. I love eating all these foods. So what has been your experience with that? And also with dealing with cravings? Did you deal with a lot of cravings when you first transitioned and any tips for how to deal with that?
yes. So at first I did deal with a lot of cravings. My number one tip for cravings is to just feed yourself extremely well. Like even if you feel like you're overeating, just eat like a couple extra bites. Really fill your stomach with because raw foods are so calorie dilute. We have to eat more of them to feel or to, sustain that fullness for, a normal amount of time so you can feel satiated. And I think if you, go into some social situation where there's some junky food, you'll be way less tempted if you're not hungry. So whether that's eating a little bit more at your meals or before you go to an event, or if that's taking, some dates or some fruit with you, so you're prepared for those situations. That's helped me tremendously.
And do you feel satisfied? Like, I feel
Oh,
like a lot of people feel like like they wouldn't be satisfied on this, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So at first it's a different feeling, like it's lighter food. So you feel lighter in general. So you don't have that dense, heavy feeling. So you might not feel satisfied at first. But I find like the longer I do this, like raw foods are the only thing that satisfies me, because for me personally, like cooked foods have this addictive quality to them. And yes, I still sometimes eat them on occasion, but I notice when I eat them, like I just want more and more. Like I don't want to stop. And with raw foods,
Mhm.
it's like my body knows exactly when I've had enough. I don't know if you experience the same, but it just like shuts off the hunger drive. And I'm just like, I know I've had enough.
And how do you feel otherwise also when you have the cooked food? Like for me, if I eat a bite of cooked food, which I haven't in so long, I just don't anymore. I feel more tired, dehydrated, and I just like lose that like high vibe feeling I normally have. Is it the same effect on you?
Yes, definitely. Mainly the dehydrated part. I noticed that right away for sure. And then, yeah, that like exhausted feeling after you have a meal and heavy and kind of icky. It
Yeah.
usually goes away by the next day for me. I know some people it can last, like the effect can last longer, but yeah, usually, unless it's like steamed veggies, I can get away with those. But like starches or beans or something like heavier, I do
hmm
feel kind of tired and not myself. So,
Yeah. And have you noticed any changes with your hair? I know for me, like I had positive changes with my hair or also with your teeth. I know some people worry about maybe having negative symptoms with their teeth. It hasn't been the case for me, but what has been the case for you with those things?
so at first in 2009, when I went raw, like cold turkey,
hmm
I noticed actually my hair kind of like falling a little bit more, like shedding.
Yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's just because I didn't transition and it was like detox and I was under eating back then. Like, I don't know how many calories a day I was eating, but it was probably not a lot at all. So I would say like with where I am now, I've transitioned quite a bit throughout the years, like going vegan or vegetarian vegan and then raw vegan.
hmm
I haven't noticed any negative things. Actually, once I started, like what I do now is I take an all-in-one supplement, and I've seen like improvement in my hair since then. Like
Me
it
too.
hasn't,
Yeah.
it barely sheds at all. So,
Is it
um,
complement? Is it complement? The supplement?
no, it's not. It's actually Dr. Joel Furman. He has an
Yeah.
all-in-one uh capsule.
Nice. Yeah, I take it all in one too. I can link it below. I love it. And yeah, I just had all my blood work tested. It's all perfect and
Awesome.
everything's great. I'm wondering, do you have any tips for somebody who wants to try this and they want to transition, like how to get started, how to transition, maybe like if there's any mistakes you've learned along the way, or like any advice to give somebody who is inspired by you and maybe wants to give this a shot?
Sure, definitely. I would say start small because it can be overwhelming at first. Even if
hmm
it's just one raw meal a day, I always tell people try fruit for breakfast. Like that's the easiest thing.
hmm
And a lot of people report back and say like, "Oh my gosh, I could do this forever just eating fruit for breakfast," and they feel
hmm
amazing just doing that. And then, you can take it a step further and have like a raw salad for lunch. And then, have your cooked dinner. So like the raw till dinner approach. I know lots of people that do that and feel amazing just doing that. So I say, kind of do your own transition, whatever you're comfortable with. If you notice detox symptoms and you're starting to feel like it's too much, you can back off a little bit. But you shouldn't, I mean, if you're transitioning like that, you shouldn't really have too much detox in my experience. So I would
hmm
say that. And then also support is huge. Like that's why I started my Instagram page when I first went, or when I in 2020 when I committed to raw. So yeah, community. Also, really write down your why. Like why do you want to do this?
hmm
And then I was gonna say something else too, but oh, inspiration. Like
hmm
this is where, people like you come in, Gillian, because I watch your channel for inspiration all the time. Like every day when I'm walking or doing my exercise. Like I love to listen to like Shane Sterling, Fully Raw Christina, anybody like get recipe ideas, just inspiration to be raw in general. That kind of stuff like really fuels your journey. And I find it helps me stay on track. So
absolutely well said. And how has this been socially for you? Like, has everyone around you been supportive? Have there been like any challenges with that, or like any tips for like maintaining this, like with work and like function, stuff like that?
So, I mean, you get a lot of weird looks. I'm sure you've had this happen,
Yeah.
like at the grocery store when
Oh,
your
yeah.
cart is full of fruit and people are like, wow, that's a lot of sugar, and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
a lot of people say, well, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
I get that a lot. Or where do you get your protein? Those are the most common ones. For the expensive one, like I just say like, well, what's more expensive, being in the hospital or, paying for all these expensive medications to keep you alive, or to fuel yourself with real food? Like, so that's my argument with that one. As far as the protein goes, I mean, there's so many different, arguments out there for the protein thing, but I think what we've been told traditionally is incorrect. So I know that's controversial and some people disagree with that, but where does the cow get the protein? It gets it from grass. It's not, where does the gorilla get it? So, I mean, I'm sure everybody's heard that before, but that's what I say to that. And then, for work, I just pack my fruit. Like I take a huge container, like right now it's watermelon. I always usually focus on what's in season and buy like a lot of it, if I like it. So that's another tip too, is like buy the fruit that you love, like just your favorite, whatever it is, especially if it's in season, just bring a lot of that with you. And then whenever you get hungry, it's like right there. Fruit is like fast food. So it's really convenient. So for me, I love that simplicity of just, okay, I have to go to work real quick in the morning, just grab my fruit and go. Like it's super easy for me.
Okay, amazing. And I'm just wondering, some people say that when they have like a big transformation like this, like you've lost so much weight, that they notice sometimes people treat them differently. Has that been your experience or no?
I'm trying to think back, because like my weight shifted a lot in since 2014. Like I've been down in that time period. I would say yes, but I don't think it's to do with like my weight or anything. I think it's to do with my confidence, because, before, when I was eating meat and animal products, I had such a low vibration. Like I just felt down. I didn't have hobbies that I was pursuing. I was really like sheltered. Like I lived a sheltered life. Like I didn't get out at all. And I actually took up like ballroom dancing when I went vegan. Like at the same time I went vegan, like started ballroom dancing, weirdly enough. And like, I just
That's
got
awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, it was really fun. And so I still dance socially. But yeah, and I have other hobbies. Like I love, traveling and going to the Upper Peninsula with my family, and hiking and all outdoorsy stuff mostly. But yeah, back then I didn't do any of that. And I think I just was sheltered and didn't feel like going out because I didn't feel good about myself. Like I didn't want the world to see me or to put myself out there. So yeah, the dancing was really putting myself out there, and in kind of an extreme way. So I got over that real quick, but I mean, that helped my confidence in a huge way as well, the dancing. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Dancing, skateboarding. I love it.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I'm wondering, like, spiritually, has this lifestyle affected you at all? I know with a lot of people, they say they experience a great spiritual experience and transformation. And has that been your experience on the raw living food?
Yes. I mean, I think the whole thing is a spiritual experience for me. Like in 2009 when I, was eating animal products, and then it felt like raw foods found me and in that time. And then like, I feel like it found me again, like throughout the years. And even like recently, like for like 6 months, I totally abandoned my Instagram page. And I was like, I don't think I want to post anymore. Like I wasn't feeling inspired. I was still eating mostly raw, but I was just feeling like, I don't know, I didn't have anything valuable to say. And like, I don't know, I was busy at work and just caught up in stress and stuff. So I was like, I don't need to do anything with that. And then like this article in the UK came out about me, and they had interviewed me like a year prior. And then I didn't even think they were going to like publish it or anything. And then they published it. And all of a sudden I got like tons of DMs, like hundreds of people like liking my page and like commenting and saying I was inspiring them. And that really inspired me to, you know, do this, because I think this is my life's purpose. I feel like this is what I want to do with my life. And so like, yeah, I'm going to keep posting recipes and helping people and staying on this path as much as possible. You know, I think occasionally like I might have cooked food or something, but I'm at the point where I'm kind of ditching the whole perfectionism thing, because, you know, I find that when you beat yourself up for doing something, you know, that's like off plan, you tend to feel bad about yourself, as like the guilt and the shame is what actually causes you to do it again. So for me, I accept it and I'm like, you know what, I did it. You know, I didn't feel the best. I'll just go back to eating the way I normally eat. So yeah, I think for me, once I started eating the raw food, though, to go back to your original question, I did notice that I felt more in tune with my intuition. Like I could hear my own thoughts clearly. I noticed things that I didn't notice before, as far as like emotional things I wasn't processing before, because I think with like cooked food and alcohol and you know, really processed food, it kind of numbs you out. So definitely I notice a huge difference.
Wow, amazing. And I'm wondering, what is your favorite part about being raw?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say just the energy and like that just alive feeling that you feel after you, like when you eat, you don't feel heavy or like gross, like you're energized to go throughout your whole day. And yeah, just hydrated. I don't know, like I'm gonna say like everything about it, but
Yeah, that's the
probably
same with
the
me.
energy.
The energy for me, that's the top reason why I do it. And I'm wondering, where do you think you would be had you not taken this path?
Oh, that's a good question too. Yeah, I mean, I could have still been eating animal products. You know, I could have been struggling with my weight still. You know, feeling like down, not feeling on my purpose, you know, all of those things. Basically, I think a lot of people get stuck. They feel stuck because they aren't even inspired to make the change, you know, like they want to lose weight, they want to get healthy, but they're at such a low place. They're like, how do I even start? I don't want to change. Like, and I think I needed to go through that like low point, you know, when with the deep dish pizza and the heart palpitations. And like, that was my like awakening, or like when I like realized, okay, this has to change. You know, I think some people need to go through that like dark night of the soul to like realize, okay, this is what I actually want. So
100%. And have you had like any heart palpitations or any of that stuff happen while being raw, or it's all just gone away?
oh no, nothing at all like that. No.
Amazing. And before you were raw, did you have any addictions that you had to get over? Like, I know a lot of people like smoke or drink and they think like, I can't, life would suck without these things. Right. But to me, like my experience without alcohol and stuff, I'm so much happier. I used to drink a lot. Did you have like any coffee, alcohol, smoking, any addictions that you've managed to get over?
Yes. So actually, I think it was 2021, I want to say, I gave up coffee, and that that was hard, but I did it gradually, so it wasn't too bad. And I actually have like a free PDF if anybody wants it, like 2 methods I use to get off of coffee. Because our adrenals are actually an important, they provide an important function for our detox system. So I do recommend people get off of coffee. It's just, you have a different kind of energy, and it's true energy that comes from, our food. And coffee is just fake energy. It's just like, I think somebody explained it to me like it's like kicking yourself in the back, like over and over again. I don't know. It's just like that visual for me. And I'm like, oof, like I can feel tired just talking about it, because I remember how tired I was when I used to drink coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then alcohol. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, it's like this fake energy. It's like this fake high. And it's just like, you think you like love it and want it. Like I used to love coffee too. And then like you just do things you wouldn't normally do in like not a natural way, like the raw foods. Like you're attracted to people you wouldn't necessarily normally be attracted to. At least for me, you're buying things you wouldn't buy. You're like, it can totally change your life path, these addictions, because it puts you in a different frequency. And like you said, brings out like this fake energy. And before you know it, you have different friends, you're doing different things than you otherwise would be doing.
Yeah, that's a great point. Definitely, I think alcohol can be the same way too, like cause you to do different things. Yeah, it's definitely a drug, and I definitely recommend getting off both. Actually, one of my goals for the future is to make an ebook on how to make like healthy mocktails, and how to transition off of alcohol too, because that's something I had to go through as well.
Me too. And it gave me a lot of anxiety when I used to drink alcohol, and it's just so many negatives to me. I don't see any positives with that one, but that's just me. Yeah. Well, I would love to ask you a few of the viewers' questions if you still have a little bit of time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, great. So Aqua Sun wants to know, how long did it take you to lose all the weight on raw? They said, I'm also on a weight loss journey, so I'm really curious.
Gotcha. So I would say like on raw, so the first time I went raw coming off a standard American diet, I lost 30 pounds in 30 days. It was like super quick. So like a pound a day.
Oh yeah, you said that. Yeah.
But since then, I would say it's like on average, if I had to average everything, it's about 10 pounds a month. So that's about what I lost. And I mean, now it's slower because I have less to lose. I still have like 40 pounds I'd like to lose, but yeah, so it's slowed down quite a bit. But I'd say like at first, like expect anywhere from 10 to 15 pounds a month. Probably.
Okay, amazing. So the next question, well, Anne, she said, she looks amazing. I've actually gained weight. I'm high raw, but at dinner, I'm not. I've gained 20 pounds, but she said she's going to go raw. Maybe that would help going fully raw, do you think, to shed the extra weight she wants to lose?
Absolutely. So I would recommend, so the thing with cooked food for me too, I notice if I go back to it, it's a slippery slope, right? So you can eat really healthy, like cooked, starch-based meals, but with cooked food, you're getting if you go to restaurants and stuff, you're getting the oil, you're getting things that you might not want to be eating. So for me with raw, it like cuts out all the processed stuff. So it doesn't leave any room for error, basically. Not much. So I would say go raw and focus on fruit as your main fuel source. And, if you want to try intermittent fasting to boost your results, that's an excellent thing to try. Definitely try to not eat, I say at least 3 hours before bed, because that's the main thing. You don't want to eat before bed because you won't lose the weight if you're doing that.
Great point. And Happy Channel said, I would like to know about how she included self-love into her journey. It's a good question.
Good question. Yeah, I was just going to say. So yeah, definitely like Raw Vibrant Love. That's my name on Instagram. That's basically what that name is. I created it. It means like raw. I wanted my page to be about raw living foods, have lots of vibrant, colorful pictures. And then also the love part is my self-love journey. So basically acting in alignment with my highest, desires and goals. So once you do that, I mean, that's like the highest form of self-love, in my opinion, is acting in alignment with what you truly want. And what's best for you. So for me,
I love that.
Thanks. Yeah. So that's why I created Raw Vibrant Love. So that's part of my journey.
That's beautiful. And Heather says, she asked what you eat in a day. We talked about that. And she said, what or who inspired you to change? Is your family raw? And then there's another question, but I'll wait till you answer that.
Sure. So my family is not raw, unfortunately. My dad is actually a vegan. He's been vegan for, I think, 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
So he's more like Starch Solution. That's his go-to. I've tried to get him to do raw, but it's not really his thing. But yeah, he does pretty well with the Starch Solution. And then the rest of my family, they all kind of eat more standard. And then, sorry, what was the other question?
The other one was what or who inspired you to change? Was there like anything in particular, like anyone in particular, or was it, I know with the pizza and everything.
Right. So I would say, first of all, David Wolfe, when I first discovered that book. And then, also another book I read that I really like, it changed the way I thought about food combining. The Raw Food Detox Diet by Natalia Rose. That really is a great eye-opening book into how to eat. Like, she talks about food combining and how to eat so that you can stay detoxing, like for, maximize your detox and weight loss. So I love that book. And then I would say, like, I watched a lot of like David Wolfe, Matt Marnark. I was going to say, Fully Raw Christina. I love her. Freely. I watched a lot of her as well. Just a lot of people. And now I watch everybody too. But I would say those are the ones I started with.
Nice. And she also asks, she says, my friend with red hair is afraid of the sun. Are you afraid? Do you burn easy, or has going raw changed that?
That's a good question. So I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of the sun. I'm actually, I actually did notice, like I did recently a 15-day fruit cleanse or like fruit feast is what I like to call it, where I just ate fruit like as much as I wanted. And I noticed, and I think it's the lycopene in the watermelon I was eating, because they say lycopene in like tomato products actually is like an internal sunscreen.
Wow.
So they did. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I read somewhere, like there was a study they did with tomato paste, like people ate the tomato paste because it's concentrated, but, and it protected them from the sun. It's really amazing. So, I need to look more into that, but I noticed that like I did burn this weekend, like you can see my farmer's tan there, but it's not like, it doesn't hurt. It's just kind of red, but, it is fading pretty quickly as well. So it doesn't like make me immune to the sun. So, but it does help. So that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah. Interesting. So interesting about the tomato paste, the lycopene or whatever.
Yeah.
Wow. I've never heard that. I learned so much in these videos. I love it. So I'm wondering too, you mentioned, 2 weeks, only fruit you did, only fruit.
Yeah.
How was that experience? Did you notice like any big differences from being fully raw going to like fully fruitarian like that?
Yes. So, I've always like been interested in the fruitarianism as well. So I'm like kind of leaning that way throughout the years, I think, but it started with like me seeing a slide of like the anatomy of, or like anatomical features of fruitarians versus humans, and then carnivores and herbivores. And you can like visually see like how our digestive system is and our teeth. And it compared all those, that information. And you can just see that we are physiologically, maybe not historically, right, but physiologically frugivores. So that really kind of opened my eyes. So I've been high fruit ever since I saw that. And I think that was 2021 sometime that I went more more high fruit. And then
just the major differences on the 2 weeks recently only on fruit. I'm so interested in that because I was thinking about doing that. I might do just a watermelon fast next week for fun because I don't know, I've been eating a lot of fats lately, but
yeah, so I've actually never done the mono fruit feasting. But I have done the fruit feasting in the past as well. Um, I noticed like increased detox and weight loss. So I did have some detox symptoms when I first did this back. I think I did it in 2020 and then also again in 2021. I do it probably every year that watermelon comes out. It's in season because that's primarily what I eat as well. Watermelon and ice cream. That's what I say. Basically, that's all I eat on the fruit feast. But the main thing I noticed this time was increased hydration. Like my skin feels so supple and like hydrated. And I just feel like super energized with, hydration. The kind of similar to how I felt after juicing for 30 days, if that makes sense. Cause with the vegetable dishes, I add miso paste, I add salt a little bit. So that can kind of like have an effect, I think. And it might not be like ideal. But I do like to add a little bit of salt and seasonings to the veggies. But yeah, with the fruit, obviously it doesn't need it. It's just sweet and juicy. So
interesting. And Riley said, what does she do to make sure she gets all her government recommended macronutrients, micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, and essential fatty acids in the right amounts?
Gotcha. Good question. So I don't actually track anything. I do take that all-in-one supplement like that we were talking about before, and that's just like a one and done. So I don't have to think about it. But I will say I do make a point to get my omega-3s through usually ground flax seeds. I just sprinkle it on my salads, or ground chia seeds. And it is important that they're ground for like absorbing them. But yeah, I do recommend people do that because the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio is really important for health and longevity. So,
so true. And so Chelsea says, outside of the weight loss, did you notice any other noticeably positive health changes? So I think we did go over a couple of those, but maybe could you summarize like all the positive changes you did notice?
Sure. I'm trying to think of more because there's so many. But yeah, acne, weight loss, the breathing. Also, I noticed like before I had a lot of mucus, like I would feel clogged up in the mornings and sometimes at night. And now I can breathe like really easily. I guess that goes along with the breathing. Energy, hydration, like I feel super hydrated all the time when eating raw. Definitely more high vibe, like more inspired, less depression. It's not totally, I'm not totally depression free or perfect by any means, but definitely things and situations affect me a lot less like negatively than they would before. Just a happier, positive outlook on life. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else,
I know
but
there's just so many. And are there any foods that you stay away from?
Foods that I stay
Like
away
some
from.
people stay away from cacao or onions or garlic or like certain things. Is there anything you stay away from or no?
Gotcha. No, actually, I don't really avoid any of that. I do try to limit the cacao because I, have adrenal fatigue still from the coffee. Like my adrenals are healing still. So I don't want to overdo that. And I do notice like when I have too much of it, I feel kind of buzzy, So I do limit that. And I do limit, I guess the only other thing is I limit nuts. So right now I'm trying to just eat mostly seeds in my salad dressings. So instead of cashews, I've been using sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds or something like that. Just because I feel better, like digestion wise. Yeah, I'd say that's about it.
Yeah. And Barb said, can you ask how much fat she eats and what kind? I know you just went over some of them, but do you know like what percentage or like some other fats that you eat?
So I try to keep it pretty low on the fats, like when I'm in weight loss mode. Like at first, When I first went on this journey, I was pretty much 80-10-10, like I tried to keep that ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Now I might be a little more flexible. I might be more like 15%, or some days, maybe even 20% fats. But usually, like measurement wise, like in my dressings, usually at the end of the day with my salad meal is usually the only time I have fats, but I'll have maybe up to 3 tablespoons of whatever nuts or seeds I'm using. And then up to like a quarter cup, I'd say, is at the
Mm-hmm.
most, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's about.
Yeah, I feel better lower fat too. Like yesterday, I had a lot of walnuts and I don't usually do that. And it's totally affected me today. And I really believe like how you eat today, what you eat today is like what walks and talks tomorrow. I think that's like an Esther Blumenfield quote. And I just think it's so true. And it's really affected me having like all these walnuts yesterday. I'm
Yeah.
like not as clear headed. I'm more tired. My digestion was a bit off. So like I thrive on lower fat too. Like I think a lot of raw vegans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that I don't ever do something, and get wild.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll have a whole avocado on my salad and the, fattier dressing. So, I mean, I do indulge sometimes, but I don't worry too much about it as long as it's all raw and I'm not doing it every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been so nice having you on, talking to you. I'm just so happy I got to interview you. And I'm wondering, do you have any words for anybody out there who might be struggling to get healthy and they want to maybe get healthier, but they don't know where to start and they're just feeling like, they want to be able to be maybe in your position, and just any inspiration or thoughts for them right now?
Sure, absolutely. And first of all, I want to say thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be on your channel.
Yeah.
Um, And I would say, like I said before, start small. Small shifts are going to build momentum in your life. So even if it's something like taking a 20-minute walk every day and doing one raw meal a day, that those small things will trigger your brain to feel like good, and that it'll build that positive momentum you need to take you to the next level, and then you'll just keep going. A lot of times people are in this all or nothing mentality, and I know because I came from that as well, where if they're not 100% raw for 30 days,
Mhm.
they've failed, and then they just go right back to the junk foods. And I think that's the wrong approach, because I've been there. I've yo-yoed back and forth through my veganism, and in those years with my weight, doing different things, because I had this all or nothing approach. And for me, I find that it's just like when you're cleaning your house, and I don't know why I'm using this example, but it came to it came to me just now. But
Mhm.
like when you have your whole house to clean and it feels super overwhelming,
Mhm.
and you just clean one room and it feels so good, you want to keep going. Like you want to clean all the other rooms. Like it's basically like that. So just do one thing and then focus on doing that well for a week or 2 weeks or however long you need, and then do another thing. And then eventually you'll be in a totally different place.
I love that. And where can everybody find you again? I'll link everything below. And you do some coaching too, right? If somebody wants to hire you to help them out.
Yes, I just started my coaching back up. So you can find me at Raw Vibrant Love on Instagram, and all of my links are on there. Or you can email me at rawvibrantlove@gmail.com.
Okay, amazing. And again, I'll link it below. And thanks again, Katie. I really think you're amazing. And I just literally just want nothing but the best for you. And I think you're really awesome and just one of the most inspiring people out there, truly.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, you
Yeah,
too, Gillian.
thank you. And to the viewers, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give it a big thumbs up right now. Make sure you subscribe if you don't already. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.